If you're joining us online, please take a moment to say hello in the chat. My name is Jermaine Craig, and my pronouns are she and her. It's important for us as a community to all use and model the correct use of gender and gender pronouns in creating a safe and welcoming environment, which all can pursue their spiritual goals. We're all growing, all learning, and all loved. So please, share your pronouns with us and help us grow as a people. Just remember, just as you are welcome here. On behalf of Beacon's Board of Trustees, this is the official notice of our annual meeting of Beacon Unitarian Universalist Congregation in Summit to be held next Sunday, June the 11th at 11:15 a.m. here in person at 4 Walton in Summit. Please visit our website, www.summitbeacon.org, and check your email for the links with the slate of nominees. Our minutes for last year. Oh, it's not on? Oh. No, the light's green. I hit green. And, thanks. And the proposed budget for our operating and our capital funds. So many things are happening today, just warning you right now, and we'd love to have you join us for each and every one of them. If you're new to our community, please get to know more about Beacon by joining Dick Muldoon. Dick, are you still in the lobby? Oh, he went outside to welcome people. Very tall guy, baby blue shirt. Look for Dick in the lobby. He will be walking you around for a big quick tour of the congregation just to get to know us, see the facilities, get a kind of a feel for the place, and he'll answer questions about our congregation. He's a member of our welcome team, and you can meet him by the welcome desk when we're done here. While they're touring, we're hoping that the rest of you have brought your walking shoes so you'll be ready to gather with us to go on our Hugo walk immediately after service. We'll walk from here, our historic home, to our new home at 695 Springfield Avenue. And when we arrive there, there's going to be ice cream. What a reason to walk down Summit. And it's from Urban Cone, which is a Black-owned business, and it is fabulous. I'm going to have those guys for my block party this year. Later on in the evening, there is going to be a cabaret also at 695. So please come back for that as well. Get lunch, get your ice cream, come back at 4 for a concert and a cabaret. Tickets are $20 at the door. Love guides this congregation. Love calls us daily to acts of liberation grounded in anti-racism. We affirm that we live in a complexity of intersectionality and that building healthy and loving relationships is a spiritual practice, requiring both inward and outward focus. Thus, we covenant to listen deeply, speak compassionately, express gratitude, and embrace our unique diversity. We endeavor to communicate honestly and with compassion, particularly when we're in conflict. When we hurt one another, we will try to make amends, forgive, and reconnect with the intent to repair, change, and grow. Our purpose is to be a radically inclusive, feeding the human spirit and healing the world. And in celebration of the common purpose that unites us, and with the aspiration of becoming a beloved community, we do our best to abide by this, our covenant. So welcome to Beacon, because here in this place is possibility of healing, of repair, of making things right within ourselves, between us, and with the wider world. So welcome, friends, both new and old, near and far away. Take a deep breath. Set down everything you were carrying as you walked in the doors today. And let's worship together. Amen.
Good morning, Beacon.
Good morning.
My name's Karen Engelmeyer. I'm your worship associate today. My pronouns are she, her. We call ourselves to be a people of the edges. As the earth, where the sprout first moves humus to make way for the bud that will one day bloom. As the sun's first rays up past the sky, even before the neutron star appears in fullness. We call ourselves to be a people of the margins, fiestas of joy and resistance, cascading song and dance deep into the night. Inclusion our standard, and justice with mercy our guide. We call ourselves to be a people of the borderlands, greeting travelers and sojourners alike with the song of welcome. Come, come, whoever you are, no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come round this flame. Signaling love and the courage to answer love's call. We call ourselves to be a people in service of that love, at the edges, at the borderlands, at the margins. We are together Unitarian Universalists.
Good morning. My name is Misa Iwama, and I'm the Director of Music Ministry. I'm so happy to be here today with John O'Neill on piano and Caleb Brundage on drums as our guest. Thank you for being here. And of course, with our AV team of Will and Sammy, that we can actually reach you outside of the sanctuary and be heard within the sanctuary. So we're going to start with the words that we just heard, which are, come, come, whoever you are. This is a little bit of a different version, so we'll start with this, but then we'll move into something that is familiar. Come, come, whoever you are, come, come. 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 Wanderers, worshippers, lovers of leaving, it doesn't matter, ours is not a caravan of despair. Come, come, whoever you are, come, come. 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 Even if you have broken your vow 1,000 times. Come, even if you have broken some promises. Come, come, whoever you are, come, come. 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 A few more times. Come, come, whoever you are, come, come. Come, come, whoever you are, come, come. Come, come, whoever you are, come, come. Come, come, whoever you are, come. Now we're going to turn to hymn number 188, and these are the same words with a tune that is in the hymnal and goes like this. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshipper, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come.
Thank you so much, Misa and Caleb and John and Pastor Eyesha. We are so honored with this joy this morning, with the gifts that have already been shared, and with your light, beloved, that you are bringing right here to this space. We also rejoice with the members of the First Unitarian Society of Plainfield who are with us this morning. Can we give a little cheer? So I want to ask you for a moment, imagine with me that it's June 1923 in Czechoslovakia. An image comes to mind, right? You're all there in an instant. Well, let's just stretch our imagination a little bit and take ourselves, if we can, to June 1923, Czechoslovakia. Something big has just recently ended, only 5 years prior.
Anyone know what it is? 5 years from 1923. Yes, that's right. World War I.
And Czechoslovakia is brand new. It was just formed 5 years before the moment that we have just been dropped into. There are different cultures and languages in this newly formed country, and there's a lot of tension, too. Some people who are now a part of this country want to be a part of Germany. And others are hearing about the Nazis and how they are threatening Jews and others. And folks are scared. And many, many people are sad, too, because they've just come out of a horrible war. But there's one man who, as everyone is talking about their fears and all that is going wrong, keeps talking about freedom, diversity, and beauty in our world.
And it's not Bruce Springsteen. Did you know Reverend Norbert Chapek became a Unitarian right here in Orange, New Jersey?
True story. And in June of 1923, he was the minister of the Unitarian Church in Prague. It would eventually be the largest Unitarian church in the world, with well over 3,200 members. Can you imagine? Reverend Chapek knew that the Unitarians in Prague, well, they were a little leery of rituals. Many of them had been forced to be Catholic because it was the state religion before Czechoslovakia became Czechoslovakia. And so they valued free thought and freedom, and they weren't so sure about any kind of ritual. And Reverend Chapek agreed that freedom was essential, but he also wanted a way for people to recognize the importance not only of freedom, but also with it the acceptance of one another. So he asked the members of his congregation one Sunday to bring a flower, any flower, and place it in a basket near the front of the church before they came in to the sanctuary.
In the midst of the sermon, Reverend Chapek explained that after the sermon, each person should take a flower. And you all thought our candle lighting took a long time?
He explained that they should take the flower
Just as it comes, without making any distinction where it came from or whom it represents, to confess that we accept each other as siblings without regard to class, race, or other distinction, acknowledging everybody is our friend who is human and wants to be good.
with rising political beliefs that difference was bad and should be eliminated and that freedom would create chaos. Reverend Chapek reminded the Unitarians of how precious freedom is and how strong unity in diversity can be. They saw together the beauty that the flowers brought their otherwise plain sanctuary, and they remembered the beauty they as a people brought into that space and into the world. Not a threat, not something to be feared, but strength.
The flower ceremony gave people hope and reminded them of who we are together, just as it does today.
And it sustained Reverend Chapek too. he kept on preaching about freedom and diversity and progress and about being a better human, even if it meant he was under threat himself, even after his arrest by the Nazis, even after he went to prison, he kept on preaching. And Reverend Chopik died because he taught about love in a time of great hate, and he espoused freedom in a time of control and war.
His ideas and his inspiration live on. His wife Maria and daughter Zora brought his words back here to the United States, and the Flower Communion is now celebrated by Unitarians and UUs all over the world.
Later in our service, we will take flowers just as they did for that first Sunday 100 years ago when Reverend Chopik created this ritual. And yes, beloved, the times have changed.
But there are still those who cry for uniformity, who want to end freedom, and who peddle hate. And so this ceremony, over 100 years old, matters today.
Even here and now, it can be a reminder that we cannot take freedom or diversity or inclusion for granted, and that learning and expanding our understanding matters every day, including this day.
Here ends our time for all ages.
So beautiful to see you. And we, like Norbert Chopik's congregation, we too have a table. It is not as bare as it once was. And we have a vase which longs to be filled. And so today, we will fill that vase. The vase is not unlike this sanctuary. This sanctuary brings us together. And it is not unlike the earth that holds the sanctuary into being. When we fill the vase with greens and flowers, we are filling it with our very lives. So now we are ready to make a bouquet. Are you ready? Are you all awake? Yes. You ready to make a bouquet of the beauty of this congregation? Let's do it. So today we honor the rites of passage. We honor the births, the coming of agers, the marriages, the transitions, the deaths that have occurred in our community. And as we do so, we are going to invite you to honor these sacred moments and relationships that have happened in your life, maybe outside of this congregation. So there'll be time for you to name names, and if you're watching virtually, to write those names into the chat. So I'd like to invite, I don't see where she's gone, I'd like to invite Jermaine forward, and if not, I think she went to help.
She went to help. I can help.
Come on forward, Tuli, right here. What am I doing? Right there.
Okay. We begin by honoring all of those among us who have been born this last year, welcomed into Beacon families through fostering, adoption, or birth. Audrey Hergenhan to Hannah, Michael, and Natalie. Callie Jane Saluga to Tanya and Joe. Brendan O'Sullivan to Tony, Lon, Lily, and Lonnie. Amelia Ebert to Mara, Jody, Parker, and Xander. Brennan, Michael, Lawson, Lanes to Dan, Ted, Sean, Brian, and Miles. And here we have Tanya to place rosebuds in our bouquet for these new lives. Who has been born or welcomed into your world this year? We invite you to share their names out loud, or please write them into the chat.
River, Nathan Litzstein. Leon. Pierce Robeson.
Amal Patel. For these lives born into our community, we give thanks. We honor now those who have completed their 5th grade rite of passage, 9th grade coming of age, and are graduating from high school. And we invite forward Georgie Kiley and Heather Stober to place daisies, carnations, and sunflowers in our bouquet. Our fifth graders are Alexander Contract, Kiran Disa, Caitlin Freeman, Jocelyn Hoyos, Charlotte Miselli, Paolo Mondeser Kiley, Graham Reno, Teddy Robbins. Our ninth graders are Abigail Laney, Essa McGowan, Pierre Mondesor Kiley, Amelia Ortiz, Andrea Rondon, Hannah Schell, Ava Stober. Our high school graduates are Meredith Burt, Alice Kripe, Aidan Frater, Corey Gregson, Samuel Hecht, Yehaliset Hyman, Shaylin McGowan, Veronica Smith Cooper. Who has come of age in your life or graduated this year? Please call out their names or write them into the chat. For these graduates, we give thanks.
We rejoice for the weddings this year. We celebrate with John Hoyos and Stephanie Licata. Are they John? Great. We invite forward John, Lux, and Jocelyn to place hydrangeas in our bouquet. They brought forward flowers and a banner. I mean, they've already worked in the service. What love have you witnessed in your life this year, beloved? Say the names.
Julia and John Fox.
We also said goodbye to Beacon members and friends as they moved away from us. Some are still attending Beacon virtually, others have joined new congregations. Nevertheless, their presence is missed. Margaret and Craig Babcock to Pennsylvania, Gary and Jane Buscemi to Florida, Leslie Colmanier and Keith Neer to Minnesota, Deborah Graham to Nevada, Beth and Simon Purdy to North Carolina. We invite forward Sarah Edvelson to place peonies in our bouquet.
What friends and neighbors, what coworkers and loved ones have moved away from you this year? Say their names into our community. We're with you. Blessings upon these lives that have been moved with ours.
We remember and recall the lives that have passed on. Pat Thornton, Susan Goodman, Rosemary Levine. We invite forward Bernice Kelly to place lilies in our bouquet. Whose life gone from this year do you honor?
Our bouquet now has been readied with the abundance of community, love and loss, new life and renewal.
In the beauty of this diversity and this community of communities, we discover a greater strength than we can ever hold alone.
With hearts overflowing, let us give thanks for one another and the countless ways we have lived into our promises and our mission. Let the congregation say, Amen.
Good morning, Beacon. My name is Allison Murphy, she, her. I'm one of the chaplains here at Beacon. Chaplains extend the spiritual care of our community, and we know as chaplains that everyone, including chaplains, will be in need of spiritual care at some point in their lives. One ritual of spiritual care is our community candle lighting. Together, each week, we light candles of joy, sorrow, and gratitude. This morning, we acknowledge that there are those among us who are holding sorrow and grief in their hearts. However, this weekend, on the first weekend of Pride, we are focusing on joy, specifically joy in the LGBTQIA+ community. Today, we light candles in support and solidarity with queer folks who will march, stomp, parade, promenade, shimmy, and sashay through the streets at Pride Month festivals all month long. We light a candle in joyful thanks for the 3 incredible drag performers who filled this sanctuary with loud music, dance, sparkles, and high kicks on Friday night. If you weren't here, you missed it. We light a candle in honor of everyone, young and old, who is living as their true selves through their identities, their dress, their pronouns, and their sexualities, and for those who are still finding the courage to do so and to come out. We light a candle in joyful celebration of LGBTQ+ families who are raising children, building homes, and supporting their communities. A candle in joyful recognition of activists like Harvey Milk, Audre Lorde, and Marsha P. Johnson, and many, many, many more whose bravery and perseverance have paved the way for progress and change. A candle in joyful appreciation of June thunder showers that paint our skies with literal rainbows after they pass. And lastly, a candle to joyfully proclaim that love is love is love is love. For this and so much more, we invite you now to come forward to light a candle here in our sanctuary or wherever you are watching us from.
And when the kids are done, you may join Miss Jermaine downstairs. Miss Jermaine, yes, you may join Miss Jermaine downstairs after you've lit your candle. Thank you. For our meditation this morning, I invite you to actually start off a little differently than we usually do. I want you to take some time really focusing on this vase of flowers. From wherever you are, I know it might be a little bit hard to see from up there, but see if you can focus in on the petals and the stamens and the leaves, and maybe name the lilies and the peonies and the carnations and yellow roses. We're memorizing this collection in our mind's eye. And now, if you will, you are invited to gently close your eyes. Bring into your mind's eye an image of this vase that you just spent 30 seconds looking at. Imagine in your mind's eye the rosebuds and call to mind new life. Across this planet, all sentient beings everywhere, there has been new life. Yes, sometimes. Uh-oh. And may all these new lives, to whomever they were born, know lives of ease, may no harm come to them, and may they find in the midst of beauty eternity. Bring to mind now daisies and carnations, and across the globe, humans who have graduated 5th grade, if they're fortunate enough to have access to schooling, 9th grade, perhaps high school. There are many across the globe who do not have these privileges. To each one of them, we wish journeys of ease, futures without harm, and may they too know eternity in the midst of beauty. There are people this year who have committed to one another, either through formal marriage or some other way. May their love for one another abound. May they be blessed with abundance. May they too know ease and no harm come to them. And may they encounter eternity in the midst of beauty. For centuries, we as humans have moved. For millennia, we have moved from place to place. Many among us, whom you heard earlier, have moved as well. For all those making new pathways in new homes, may their roots run deep in the earth. May they know freedom and eternity in the midst of beauty. And finally, all communities everywhere, all sentient beings everywhere, have known lives that have passed on. Lilies in our bouquet represented these lives. May they be at ease. They are no longer in pain. We end with the words of Norbert Chapek, who wrote these words before he was killed. Even though 1,000 times disappointed and fallen in the fight, even though faced with a world which now seems worthless, I have lived amidst eternity. Be grateful, my soul. Be grateful, my soul. I have lived amidst eternity. Here ends our meditation.
I know this rose will open. I know my fear will is number 396 in the hymnal. Please join in singing. This is a round, so you can sing with me or come in later or even before. 396.
Good morning. I'm Jean Crichton, and for many years, have been a part of the Partner Church program that our church here at Beacon has had with the Unitarian Church of Barot, Transylvania in Romania. And I found out about this almost immediately when I first came to this church in 2001, and right away I wanted to go on a trip to go there. And I did. And I just found the people to be so wonderful and generous. And I've been part of this ever since. And now we have, as you know, gotten a tri-partnership with a church in Jawai, India. And the Barot Church is part of that, which is really exciting. Over the past 22 years, our church has provided university scholarships to 31 young people from the Barot congregation. The first scholarship was funded by 5 Summit families who joined to provide funds so that Laurent Tokesh, we call him Laurie, could attend seminary. Today, Reverend Laurie Tokesh is a Unitarian minister serving in the town of Oakland, only about 15 minutes from Barot. He's married, he has 4 sons, and he messaged me this past week to say how grateful he is for the scholarship grants that he got 20 plus years ago. And he was a guy who loved folk dance, and he also raises a certain kind of Hungarian dog, which you can look up on his Facebook page. So, you know, we have just become very close friends with this congregation. So over the years, our scholarships, I think they really have had an impact. 2 other scholarship students from Barot have become or are becoming Unitarian ministers. Their names are both Agnes. Agnes Tatar graduated a few years ago and is now working as an assistant minister in a nearby city. Another Agnes Demeter, is completing her bachelor's degree in theology this spring. She wrote earlier that she decided to become a minister when she was 14 because she said, I want a job and a career where I can benefit the community, and I think this is the most versatile way to do that. I'm grateful for the opportunity to be a recipient of this fellowship. Now, Agnes has been recognized for her preaching. She's been asked to preach at certain, big events in Transylvania, but she also has chosen a topic for her thesis, which is researching the 16th through 18th century textiles donated over the years to the Unitarian Church in Koleshvar and to other historic congregations. She wrote to me, I consider this work important because at the moment there are no specialists in our church working in this field. I'm sure that we have inherited many valuable textiles, sometimes not knowing their value or storing them properly. Ultimately, my work is intended to contribute to the preservation of our Unitarian values. It's so cool. Now, we've helped educate teachers, doctors,
people from other professions. And of course, it's no surprise that quite a few of our scholarship students are in high tech, and artificial intelligence. And one is Attila Kadar, who has visited a couple of times. We know him. He was a really good student in high school, and he earned his bachelor and master's degree, I think, in computer science in Budapest, which is Hungary, a different country. And he now works in artificial intelligence. He wrote last week, "I am currently working full-time as a deep learning engineer at Continental Automotive in Budapest, where I am involved in the development of advanced driver assistance systems, for example, safety brakes, traffic sign recognition, or fully autonomous parking systems." Okay, fortunately, I can work remotely from Transylvania, so I can spend a bit more time with my dad and my girlfriend. I realize more and more that Bayreuth is where I truly belong. And this is one thing we've always loved, the idea that the people will help them be educated and that they can come back to their hometown and really help the community. Unfortunately, it's not that easy because it's a very small town, so there are not that many jobs and so forth. But he's figured out a way to do it by working remotely. It was pretty cool. And now Ati is also one of the young people from Bayreuth who have been meeting up in Europe with young people from Beacon. They just started doing this, meeting in Europe, spending a week together, like Madrid, Budapest, other places, and we didn't even know they were doing this. So we feel like that's a real proof of how the partnership is really working. So the last of the students I'm talking about is Botond Molnar, we call him Bodhi, who is receiving his bachelor's degree in geography this spring. His thesis topic is flood risk on the stream that runs through Bayreuth, a needed study that has never been undertaken before. He also he studied meteorology, water controls and things like this, and he had to work with the mayor's office. And he also intends to return to Bayreuth after earning his master's degree, and he hopes to establish a horticultural business raising roses. And he and his family already planted this big bunch of roses, and quite something, these rows and rows of roses, pretty amazing. So these are only some of the youth and adults whose lives have been impacted by our scholarship efforts. I know firsthand that nurturing these connections has enriched the lives of many of us on both sides of the Atlantic. So our entire collection today, unless it's for your pledge, will go to the scholarship program in Bayreuth, and I hope you'll be as generous as you possibly can be.
Thank you, Jean. Our morning offering will now be most gratefully received.
My blood doth rise in the roots of yon oak. Her sap doth run in my veins. Boundless my soul like the open sky, where the stars
Thank you, Misa. Thank you, John. We are a covenantal faith, and rather than being guided by a set of creeds, that is, unchanging beliefs, we invite one another into right relationship and a lifetime of learning of what it means to be better humans together, for each other, for the earth, and for generations to come. And though each congregation is unique, it is our covenant as Unitarian Universalists that gather us together as one faith.
Being a beacon means living with boldness, radical inclusion, feeding the human spirit, and
Healing the world.
What was that?
Healing the world.
I thought you knew that. It is living at the edges, the borderlands, the margins. It is magnifying our light. First Unitarian Society of Plainfield is a beacon. As they closed their congregation, they turned the building over to the city of Plainfield so that it will continue to be a flourishing community center. And then they took their endowment funds, and rather than spend them down for their own purposes or keep the congregation slowly and smallly going, instead they started looking for the best missional use. And they are giving some of these funds to ensure that Beacon can help keep their food pantry in Plainfield running. And it's been running since 1957. And there's more. They are continuing those funds. Some of them are going to Beacon Hope and Equity Center, committed to decolonizing wealth, and some for scholarships, and some for outreach, and some for social justice. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. It is indeed a beacon act to have the courage to let your congregation go so that its mission can live on.
That's right. And so we rightfully recognize those First Unitarian Society of Plainfield members who will join us today as members and friends. As we call your name, please come forward to sign the membership book right there.
And I invite the co-lead of our Connect team, Tanya Saluga, with baby Callie, to come forward as we welcome our friends from Plainfield. Charlie Neese and Denise Sopas. Chris Baglieri. Sarah Muller-Robbins and
Hi,
Lily.
Lily.
Sylvia Walker. Deb and Jim Weiler. Martha Redding. Maureen Irwin. Joanne Macaluso.
We have some gifts for you. I know y'all are waiting to sign and then line up, but we have some gifts for you, and I'll explain what they are. A chalice is enclosed in here, as well as a Beacon cookbook. Are you all listening? Because we hope soon to be sharing meals together in community. And we have taken some of your ingathering water and mingled it with ours. We are a living, flowing tradition.
And like tributaries that meet and merge, we are grateful for the history and vision your congregation provided before ours was even formed. And now together we strengthen this tradition and we magnify the light. We are pouring some of our annual ingathering water into this vessel. And now I ask Tanya if you would pour the waters from First Unitarian Society of Plainfield. Each year we gather these waters. We've been gathering them for more than 30 years now. Our waters are now merged together. They are strengthened, and your congregation's mission lives on. We say, beloved, welcome to Beacon. Dear ones, won't you please join me in welcoming the members of First Unitarian Society of Plainfield. We're going to close our service with that ritual that began 100 years ago by Reverend Norbert Chopik. We're going to invite you to take a flower different than the one that you brought. And if you didn't bring a flower, don't panic. We have an abundance of flowers, just as we do in community when we come together. There is always more than enough. So please, everyone, come forward, take a flower or two. We are a living, breathing, transforming tradition. And I believe we're going to have some movement as well. I see Pastor Eyesha in the back getting ready. Pastor Eyesha, do you want to say any words to us before we begin?
We're not expecting you to join a ballet, but we are hoping that you embody your belief and your faith, that this ritual is definitely a part of you. And as you take a flower, please pray for the person who brought it in today. Is that all right?
Do we want to call the children forward, Pastor Eyesha? So children, those of you who practice the movements, even if you didn't come on forward, Emmett, come. Lily, come. Julia, Amelia, Kara, come on down. Arthur, Leela, come on
And
down.
beloved, as we do these movements, I really encourage you, as you come and get the flower this year, to really recommit ourselves with these movements, with taking the flower. Remember the importance of this ritual for Unitarians and Unitarian Universalists 100 years now. In this ritual, let us recommit ourselves to goodness, to inclusion, to seeking and tending the beauty in our world and in one another.
Gonna keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Never turning back. And now we'll sing number 21, For the Beauty of the Earth. This is hymn number 21, so I invite you to rise in body or spirit and join in singing. For the beauty of the earth, for the splendor of the skies, for the love which from on earth over and around us lies, source of all to thee we raise. This is our hymn of grateful praise. For the joy of earth and night, for the heart and mind's delight, for the mystic harmony, linking sense to sound and sight, source of all to thee we raise. This is our hymn of grateful praise. For the wonder of each hour, of the day and of the night, hill and vale and tree and flower, sun and moon and stars of light, source of all to thee we raise. This is our hymn of grateful praise. For the joy of human care, sister, brother, parent, child, for the kinship we all share, for all gentle thoughts and mild, source of all to thee we raise. This our hymn of grateful praise.
Everybody has a flower. Can I see you all hold it up? Take a look at it. Notice its beauty. Notice how amazing it is. Blessed be the flower and the earth who formed it.
Blessed be the beauty in each of you and the source woven in all of creation.
And love calls us on and on and on.
Blessed be beloved. Amen.
It's at the
Nice! Nice! It was just the perfect time to do that.
It's all good.
It's a perfect time, Jack. Perfect time.
It's just like a wedding. If something goes wrong, it's a blessing for the marriage.
And as we depart the sanctuary, we're going to sing, going to keep on singing loudly.